Hey members, welcome to day 2 of the Reconvened Planning Committee on the 7th of September. Thank you for all coming back, and I'm going to pass over to Andre to take members' attendance and apologies. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. You're hereby summoned to attend the reconvened meeting of the Planning Committee, which will be a hybrid meeting to be conducted remotely via WebEx and also physically in the Chamber, Guildhall, on Thursday the 7th of September 2023 at 2 p.m. Alderman Alan Bresland.
Here.
Alderman Derek Hussey. Alderman Keith Kerrigan.
No bother. Here.
Councillor Jason Barr.
Here.
Councillor John Boyle.
Here online.
Councillor Sean Fleming.
And Sean.
Councillor Paul Gallagher.
And Sean.
Councillor Conor Heaney.
And Sean.
Councillor Christopher Jackson.
And Sean.
Councillor Fergal Leonard.
And Sean.
Councillor Catherine McDade. Councillor Ray McHugh. Councillor Sean Minney.
Here.
And Councillor Patrick Murphy.
Sean.
Thank you.
Thank you, Andre. I'll go on to the broadcast statement. I would like to remind everyone present at this meeting in the Guildhall or in attendance remotely that this meeting will be broadcast live to the internet and will be capable of repeated viewing. This broadcast may be terminated or suspended in accordance with our protocol. Due to your attendance at this meeting, you are consenting to being filmed and to the use and storage of those images for broadcasting or training purposes and for the purpose of keeping historical records and making those records available to the public. Members and approved speakers are reminded to only have their mics and cameras on while speaking at the meeting and to use the chat facility to highlight a request to speak. A copy of the Council privacy notice may be found on the Council website. And moving on, any declarations of members' interests can be taken now or during the currency of the meeting. Okay. Brings us on to the next application, which is, I think, the last one on the list. That's number 5. And just give me a second. And that is LA 11 2023 1603F, and that's environmental improvements to include new equipped play area, grass playing field, access paths, boundary fencing, new tree and hedge planting at lands at Tullymore Road to the east of number 70 Whitehorn Drive, Derry. And Rosemary's taking that. Yeah, thank you, Rosemary.
Good afternoon, members. Item 5 is LA 11 2023 1603F. It's a proposal for environmental improvements to include new equipped play area, grass playing field, access paths, boundary fencing, new tree and hedge planting on lands at Tullymore Road to the east of number 70 Whitethorn Drive, Derry. The recommendation is to approve, and the application is before committee today as council is the applicant. So this slide just shows the location of the proposed development. It's within the development limits of Derry City, and it's on open space adjacent to Currynearn housing development. So this just shows an aerial shot. The grass area here with the cursor is the location for the site. The slide just shows the area at present with football nets there and a play area, an existing small play area. And it's just another shot of it. Look at the play areas in the background with Currynearn housing development in the background. This slide just shows the works that are proposed. The play area, which is in the lower part of the site here, just surrounded by the blue land, will be surrounded by a 2.4 metre high fence with gates. The facilities will be served by 4 pedestrian paths and a new path network. And landscaping of the site includes landscaping along, or tree planting here along the Ardmore Road. The slides there show, you probably can see it in more detail in any event on the on the portal, but these are just the works improved. There's a flat area proposed with for grass kickabout, and then the more formalised area of play equipment. It just shows in more detail the play equipment then that is proposed on the site. Centrally within the site, if I go back here to this slide, there's like a shelter, which is, that's just the plans there to show in cross section what that will look like. We've consulted with these various agencies, and you can see there's no objection. We've received no objections from any of the neighbours. Because the site is on existing open space, there's no conflict with policy OS1 of PPS 8. It remains an area of open space. We've also given consideration to noise and residential amenity. Given that the area is already used informally or formally by, for play, we don't consider that providing the new play areas will increase any noise. There's new lighting proposed, but there's good distance to any residential property. So again, there shouldn't be any loss of amenity due to lighting. And DFI roads have given consideration to access. There's one maintenance vehicle access provided or proposed via Whitethorn Drive, and DFI roads have no concerns regarding that. So the proposal complies with AMP2 of PPS 3. Archaeology and built heritage have also been considered. There's a number of listed buildings in the vicinity of the site. You can see that set out in the planning report, and HED has no concerns. So approval with conditions as set out in the planning report is recommended to members today. Thank you.
Thank you, Rosemary. Councillor Jackson, thank you.
I'm Gormaga Chair, and I don't have a question as such, but and this is only coming to council because it's coming to committee because it's a council application, and it's an application or a project that's been endorsed by the entire council. And usually for council applications, we would welcome the fact that this is coming to council and it's showing delivery of community projects that are being progressed by council. In this case, there's an element of disappointment at the fact that this is coming to council because it's coming on the back of a previous application that the planning permission has expired. So it highlights the fact that we weren't able to deliver for the needs of the people in Carrinearn, and that is something of deep regret for myself and for I imagine all the council officers that have been working on the application. The people that are living within Carrinearn have been demanding play facilities for many years. I have no doubt you would agree with me, Chair, that this needs to be delivered as an absolute priority. We've raised expectations in the past by securing planning permission. We were just unable to secure the funding. This is an exciting time because this planning application comes before us in advance of a potential funding application through Peace Plus. And from my perspective, when you're assessing this against policy, it was approved in the past. There's been no policy changes since the previous approval. Very similar to what was that had previously been approved by this committee. So it's a no-brainer that this be approved. The big question is whether or not it can be delivered. I don't know, it's outside the control of this committee, but I'm enthused by the support of council and they give or they recognise the need and the need for this project at this location, and the difference that it's going to make, that could potentially make the people in Carrinearn and wider afield. So I'm happy to propose that we accept the officer's recommendation, and I sincerely hope that we never, and that an application for play facilities at this site never come before a committee again, because that would mean that it hadn't been delivered. So on that basis, I'm more than happy to propose that we accept officer's recommendation to approve. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Jackson. Does anybody else wish to second that proposal? Councillor Jason Barr, thank you. I'd just like to echo the sentiments of Councillor Jackson. And the previous application for planning expired in April last year, and obviously the park wasn't fulfilled. But hopefully with fair wind on this Peace Plus application, we may get the funding this time. But I totally endorse the sentiments of Councillor Jackson. Thank you. Take a vote on that now, Andre, please.
Thank you, Chair. This is for item 5, plan application LA 11 2023 1603 F. Alderman Alan Bresland.
For.
Thank you. Alderman Derek Hussey. He's not in attendance. Or he is, yeah. Alderman Derek Hussey. Yeah. Alderman Keith Kerrigan. Alderman Keith Kerrigan. Councillor Jason Barr. Councillor John Boyle.
For.
Councillor Sean Fleming.
For.
Councillor Paul Gallagher. Councillor Conor Heaney.
For.
Councillor Christopher Jackson.
For.
Councillor Fergal Leonard.
For.
Councillor Catherine McDade. Councillor Rory McHugh. Not in attendance. Councillor Sean Mooney.
For.
And Councillor Patrick Murphy.
For.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Andre. And that we'll move on now to item number 8, open for decisions. Is DERA call for evidence on operational protocol? And if Andre's taking that, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Through the chair. The purpose of this report is to seek members' views on a call for evidence from DERA. And it's in relation to the future operational protocol to assess the impacts of air pollutants, such as ammonia, on the natural environment. So DERA has launched an 8-week call for evidence on its future operational protocol to assess the impacts of air pollutants on the natural environment, and a link to the information on the DERA website was provided for in the paper. So the consultation sets out 17 questions which are listed in Appendix 13. Not all are directly relevant to planning, and the majority are seeking stakeholders to have any further robust scientific evidence that might help inform the future operational protocol. So Council has no scientific data to provide on this issue due to the specialised nature of the information being considered. So the suggested responses are indicated on the attached documents for members to consider and advise further as necessary. I'd also like to advise members that Council received correspondence earlier today to advise that the deadline for responses has been extended for an additional 2 weeks to the 29th of September. So the recommendation is that members note the consultation and advise officers if they wish to submit a response or if any further comments they wish to be made to the department, and the comments will be submitted online by officers. Thank you.
Thank you, Andre, for that outline. Is there any members, any wish to come in? Councillor Leonard, yeah, go ahead.
All right. I acknowledge the response the council are making to the survey. And just wanted that all members see the correspondence that came out yesterday evening from council, from NAA. Has people seen that? Got a chance to read that? Yeah. Yeah. Maybe worth members just having a wee read of that correspondence, just.
Just the letter from the 2nd of August.
Yeah, that's
I've
correct.
just been informed that this is in relation to item 15.
Right, apologies.
So it is.
Apologies, right.
That's okay. Thank you. Councillor Jackson, yeah?
Yeah, I suppose in relation to this item, I would be reluctant to respond to the consultation with the draft consultation response because essentially it's no comment throughout it all, and that's understandable. It is a very specialist area. I suppose it's a question for the head of planning, but have there been engagement with our councils? I know it's a specialised area, and if we don't have the in-house specialists to respond to this consultation, then that's completely understandable. But given that it's so wide-ranging, has there been engagement with our heads of planning at our council levels, at our councils to see if our councils have any degree of specialism on this or any specific views that we could take on board as part of the consultation?
You want to take on, Andre? Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Jackson. I'm not aware that there's any other discussions ongoing with other heads of planning. However, given that we have an extended deadline to the 29th of September, I can follow up on this paper with the head of planning later this week and maybe advise through the chair if any further information has been received or any conversations or discussions have been ongoing. And then we can draft a response to be agreed with members at a later date.
You happy enough, Councillor Jackson?
I think that would be much more beneficial than submitting the responses as suggested in the report. There may be other councils that have contracted specialists to look into this, or there may not have been, but it's worth exploring. Thanks, Chair.
You have enough there, Andre, to see if that can be. Councillor Jackson, would you wish like an email to be sent out to all members then if there's any further additions or amendments to be made, and then you can reply thereafter?
And that could be, I'm not sure.
Prior to the next, well, it has to be submitted.
We mightn't have time at full council, but prior to the deadline. But if an email could be sent out, if we any further information, and if not, I don't see any requirement for us to respond to the consultation, given that we've nothing to add.
Thank you. Any other members, any comments on this or no? Okay, thank you. Item number 9, consultation from Donegal County Council, redraft letter and local transport plan 23 to 29. Andre, you taking that? Yeah. Isabel's taking that?
Isabel's online there.
Isabel, do you want to come on that if you don't mind, please? Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon, members. The purpose of this paper before you is to advise members of 2 formal consultation letters that have been received from Donegal County Council. They're attached as appendices 1 and 2 in your packs. The letters are regarding material alterations to the draft letter Kenny and local transport plan 2023 to 29 and the screening of the associated variation to the County Donegal Development Plan 2018 to 2024. The draft plan documents are accompanied by an environmental report and a flood risk report and 2 SEA screening reports. Consideration and any comments on these documents are sought before the close of consultation, which is the 8th and was the 6th respectively. The draft response is attached in your packs at Appendix 3. Members may recall that a paper was agreed by the Planning Committee at its meeting of the 2nd of February earlier this year. Item 6. In response to the consultation from Donegal County Council regarding the draft Letterkenny and Local Transport Plan. The previous paper to the Council in February summarised the content of draft Letterkenny and Local Transport Plan, as well as the associated technical assessment reports. So I won't go over this again, but the previous paper can be provided upon request, should you wish. A Chief Executive report was submitted, covering the total of 61 submissions. It was presented to the elected members of Donegal County Council for their consideration. They considered the draft plan and the Chief Executive's report and decided that they would amend the draft plan, and there were a total of 62 proposed material alterations. The adoption of the altered Letterkenny plan will necessitate the variation number 3 of the County Development Plan in order to remove the Letterkenny specific content from the CDP. This removal must be undertaken by means of a formal variation to the CDP. Donegal County Council has prepared an SEA screening report which concluded that the proposed variation would not be likely to have any significant effects on the basis that the variation is a straightforward technical and procedural exercise to remove or delete Letterkenny specific content from the CDP and will not facilitate any development. The current consultation relates to 62 proposed material alterations to the draft Letterkenny and Local Transport Plan and the associated variation. The material alterations to the Letterkenny plan involves an adjustment to the overall housing allocation targets and land supply, amended flood risk management policies, adjustments to topic-specific policies, and also to some zonings and sites. It's considered by our council that these alterations require no further comment from Derry City and Strabane District Council. This council also agrees with DCC's screening determination that the proposed variation to the County Development Plan would not be likely to have significant effects on the environment. So the recommendation before you is to agree to send in the draft letter as you have in your packs as our response to the consultation requests. Thank you.
Thank you, Isabel. And your members, if you any members want to come in on the Councillor Heaney? Thank you.
Just a quick comment, Chair, just sort of noteworthy in the report that Donegal County Council's sort of road infrastructure plans are more ambitious than our own. And I think that's largely as a result of their ability to access TNT funding and our inability to access TNT funding due to Brexit. So once again, it just flags up the folly of that decision by the British government to withdraw us against our will, and it's hampering our own plans to do it. I know we're working closely with Donegal County Council on a whole range of areas, but our inability to access the real substance of European funding is a real hamper. So it's just to make that comment here.
Thank you, Councillor Heaney. Noted. Your comments are duly noted. Any more members wish to come in on this? If the letter to hold it, yeah. Nobody in the chat box. Okay, thank you. Okay, folks, next item is item number 10. That is the notice of opinion from DFA, LA 11 2018 0186 in relation to Strabane Athletic. Letter came up from council. I'm going to ask Andre to take us through that. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. So item 10, the purpose of the report is to advise members of receipt of a notice of opinion issued from DFI to Council dated the 28th of July 2023, and it's in relation to a planning application LA 11 2018 01860 for a sports facility north of Holy Cross College and south of Ardnally Park in Strabane. So members voted to approve the application on the 24th of March 2021, and the application was referred to the department and was subsequently called in by the department for decision. And in accordance with legislation, the department must receive any request in writing for an opportunity to appear before and be heard by the Planning Appeals Commission. Any request must be made within 48 days from the date of service of the notice. So in the notice of opinion attached in the appendix with the paper, it provides the reasons why DFI consider the application should, in their opinion, be refused permission. So members will have also been sent the department's report on the application. Apologies, that was received after the members' pack went out with the papers, but it has been included in the lead items pack. So the recommendation is that members note the notice of opinion from DFI and advise officers if they wish for an opportunity for the council to appear before and be heard by the Planning Appeals Commission or a person appointed by the department for the purpose of a hearing in accordance with the legislation. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Andre, and if Councillor Jason Barr wants to come in on this here. Thank you.
Chair. Thanks for the report. Not surprising on DFI's stance on this, as we already know that they're not in favour of this application when, for many of their aspect of reasons, when I know that it joins on to the A5 road, but if you go, I know each application has to be taken on its own merit. When up in Oma, a cinema was granted permission just on access to the A5 road also. So it's something that needs to happen, especially for the progression of football within the Strabane area, where the talent is exceeding, unfortunately, the facilities that we have to offer. Chair, on 4.1, can I get a wee bit of steer as our councillors, would they be allowed to attend the Planning Appeals Commission? They would. Yes. Well, Chair, can I make that?
Yes.
Can I make that proposal that any councillors that have an interest in this are allowed to attend on behalf of council?
Yes. I think Councillor McDaid is saying that. Well, thank you, members. If any views on that?
I think we need to be careful. The opportunity for council to attend, which I totally support, but within that would be the right for councillors to be there. But it should be an official council representation. This particular issue is 20 plus years. I was looking at this when I was an MLA. I mean, back to 1999, 2000. Strabane District Council 100% supported this, and the councillors here have supported this issue. So I totally support the proposal that council seek representation, and within that councillors with an interest would also be permitted to be part of that delegation. Thank you, Chair.
Alderman Hussey, Councillor Leonard.
I just agree with Councillor Barr and Alderman Hussey. Yeah, definitely we need a strong representation going to that appeal. Thank you.
Councillor Gallagher, do you want to come in on that?
I do indeed, Chair. Thank you for letting us in. Chair, and like others, I'd be very disappointed about this opinion, and the formulation of this opinion, Chair, was well thrashed out in the Chamber and Planning Committee, and they were all considered at the time, and they were well debated at the time, and the arguments were well put in place at the time. For example, the protected route, and it was well identified for many times that protected route has been breached. And again, reasons cited around housing. And it was well debated that there'll never be housing on this land. The church has clearly stated there will never be housing on this land because they can't allocate housing on this land because this land was donated for sports facilities. And as well, Chair, there's a point thing about it is this opinion has been formulated by someone who hasn't been elected. The decision to approve this was made by a planning committee of 14, and if my memory serves me right, it was unanimous. So, Chair, I'm not sure about individual councils going up. I think that the planning committee and I'd like to make the proposal that special planners, planning committee, ask this council to officially, legally represent this council at the PIC and put across the arguments why this decision was made in the first place to approve this application and to robustly defend the decision of planning committee of why we wish to approve it. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Keller. I think from the thrust of your comments, I think Alderman Hussey and Councillor Barr really were saying the same thing. I understand from your comments you want, I think council, I think the committee have resolved that they want they want council to appear before the PAC, and also I think what Councillor Barr and Alderman Hussey were saying was that they want, if members wish to attend as well, then they can do so. So there's a remit for councillors to attend as well, or in their capacity. But I think that's what 4.1 the recommendation is saying. But I think you're clearly saying the same thing. Or if you want to come back again, that's fine, Councillor Gallagher.
Yes, Chair. What I'm saying is, back in March 2021, the planning committee made a decision to approve this. It was called down on Upper Road, and a civil servant has formed an opinion not to approve it. And what I'm proposing is that calling this council to go to the PAC and robustly challenge that opinion that this planning committee unanimously approved this application, and for the PAC to likewise approve this application.
Thank you, Councillor Gallagher. I think my understanding is that if we do seek to be attend the meeting, that's going to be the purpose of us going to the meeting with members and officers to robustly put forward the resolution that we passed in March 21, that was to overturn the officer's recommendation and put forward our own view. And that's the platform that's going to be fought on at the meeting. Obviously, with officers in attendance and members and council officers who can assist us in that capacity. But I think that's going to be incorporated within the overall aim of 4.1. You happy enough with that, or do you have a separate proposal you want to put forward for the members?
100%, Chair. And what I would suggest is possibly a pre-meeting with officers and councillors before we go to that attendance, specifically on this issue.
Can I ask the members are happy with that point of view as well? Okay. Can we incorporate that as well, Andrew? I think that should be okay. Councillor Gallagher, are you happy enough with that?
Thank you, Chair. Yes.
Okay. Happy enough? Yeah. Just do members have any other views or comments before we move on? Listen to this item. Enough? Oh, chat box, no. Okay. Okay, members, we'll move on to open. Our next item of business is open for information. That, and I will take that as items 11, 12, 13 and 14. If anybody wishes to come on any of those items, please let me know.
Chair, Alderman Kerrigan, sorry I couldn't get the chat box there. Noted, are on quick enough.
Sorry, Alderman Kerrigan, what was that again?
Just briefly, just to note the report there, item 14, just noting item 14, and just disappointing that we haven't got a wee bit more clarification from the department. So I don't know what, do the officers have any opinion of what maybe we can do, or is there any value in sending another letter, or what's the feedback from officers? Thank you, Chair.
Okay, I'll bring in Andre now if she wants to address that. Keith, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Kerrigan. I'm assuming that the letter you're referring to is the one that was issued to members just yesterday evening. I think that was the one that Councillor Leonard was referring to as well.
Yes, Andrea. Yeah.
That was the response to the chair from Mr. Mark Hammond from Natural Environment Division.
Alderman Kerrigan, is that the letter you're referring to?
Sorry, I got cut off there. Yes, I
Or-
was just touching on the letter just to get officers' views on it.
All right, Keith, you're fading away there. Can you come back in there, please? Thank you. You must be cut off again, Keith. Alderman Kerrigan,
Sorry, Chair. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Aye, thank you. Go ahead.
Just to get clarification as regards the officers' views on that letter and what is there anything further that we feel that we can do from the planning committee?
I'll bring in Andre now, Keith. Alderman Kerrigan, is that a course you want us to follow in relation to that?
Chair, it's all right at present. I'll maybe speak to some of the officers and just see privately, and then maybe we can bring it back to the next committee meeting if needed be.
Okay, members, I've just spoken to the officers there, and they have suggested that if members have any further comments, then just to pick them up with officers, and they will advise you accordingly on that. Is that okay, Alderman Kerrigan?
That's grand, Chair. Thank you very
All right,
much.
thank you very much. Cheers. Members, any other?
Chairman, just mention item 13 there about the wind farm.
Yep, go ahead.
So, yeah, I acknowledge receipt of that information about the proposed wind farm Carricane Road up around Brack. I was at one of the information evenings the other evening, just basically to say that the information provided was very scant. Some maps that even with my glasses I couldn't even see what they were supposed to be saying, but they talked about all these surveys that have been carried out this last 2 to 3 years. Absolutely no information on what the survey said. So at this point, just say, yeah, see what's in the pack there, but need an awful lot more information on it. From my opinion.
Thank you, Councillor Leonard. Andre, do you want to, Raymond, do you want to speak on that, or maybe?
Sorry.
Sorry, Councillor Leonard, I've just talking to the officers there. If you wish for any more information, then you can contact Andre or contact Damon here, and they'll assist you if that is a solution that's acceptable to you. Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Andre, do you want to address that?
Through the chair, thank you, Councillor Leonard. I suppose I have forwarded on all the information that DFI have sent to us at the minute. So the public consultation lies outside of the council planning process, and any comments, we can feed them through DFI. I'm happy to write back to DFI if you feel that there's more information required, or individuals and councillors can write directly to the applicant and say if there's information that they feel is hasn't been included in the public consultation. But I'm happy to put that through DFI as well if you want to write to me directly or the head of planning.
I thank you very much for that. John never said there's lack of information. I definitely wasn't getting that yourselves. It was the there's a proposers that are going to be building, proposing to build the site like this, a bit your information. Just for somebody new on planning, like myself, could you just explain that process, since this hasn't been passed locally, it's been passed regionally? Could you give me a wee bit on how that works?
Yes, through the chair. So the information that we've received from DFI is that they have received a PAN from the applicant for a wind farm or a proposed wind farm. So they have been in discussions with the wind farm developer, and there is legislation within the Planning Act that if DFI considers, if they're approached by an applicant and they consider that the proposed development is of regional significance, then it will be dealt with by the department, and they will consult the council on that whenever the application is made to DFI. So I suppose the information contained in the paper today is to advise members that that process is underway. So the public consultation is carried out by the applicant, and they serve a PAN notice on the department. But any comments made through the PAN process and the public consultation is made directly to the applicant. And then any objections or representations that are received during the processing of the application hasn't been submitted yet. The applicant is just going through the public consultation, which is a statutory thing that has to be done by the appellant for a major application or a regionally significant application.
So can I just confirm, anybody supporting the application or objecting to it directly to DFA, is that correct?
So through the chair, when the application is submitted to DFI, DFI will consult formally with the council, and comments can be received collectively at that point. We'll bring a paper when we receive a consultation from DFI. We'll bring a paper to committee and we'll write back to DFI for what members' comments at that point. But that doesn't preclude that an individual can make a comment at this stage through the public consultation event to the applicant, or at the time when the application is made, and it'll be made public and neighbours notified as per normal processes, and representations can be made to DFI at that point.
Well, that's great. Thank you very much for taking time to explain that.
You happy enough, Councillor Leonard? Yeah, thank you. Members, my apologies if we have to return to item number 9. Sorry, Alderman Hussey.
Sorry, before you leave that one, is it fair to say that any wind farm proposal would fall under section 26? So it isn't?
Yeah, through the chair. I suppose each case on its own merits. It's not one farm's. They can be major applications or regionally significant. It just depends on the nature of the proposal. And the department has determined in this instance, I think it's 12 turbines at quite a substantial height. Can't remember the exact height of them now, but it's quite substantial, and they've deemed that that has regional significance. But it's not a case that all wind farms are dealt with by DFI. Some are dealt locally through the council.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Hussey. Thank you, Andre. Members, my apologies, just been advised I have to go back to item number 9. We need a vote to release the letter to Donegal County Council. So we're at a canvas at that point, so I'm going to go to a vote unless you wish to, anybody member wish to raise anything before we go to the vote. There's a letter attached, Alderman Hussey, to item number 9. It's a letter from the Chair of Planning to Donegal County Council, but we need a formal vote before it gets released, tell me. So I'll ask Andre to take the vote on it. Thank you. I second there, sorry as well. Thank you. Thank you, being the proposer, Alderman Hussey, for the letter. Yeah. Councillor Barr is a
You
seconder.
initiated, so
Yeah.
I'm happy to second.
Okay, from Councillor Barr proposing, Alderman Hussey seconded. Thank you.
Thank you. This is for a vote for item 9. So it's a consultation from Donegal County Council regarding the draft letter and the local transport plan. And it's to endorse that planning officers issued the letter as drafted for members. Alderman Alan Bresland,
Or
Alderman Derek Hussey,
Or
Alderman Keith Kerrigan, Councillor Jason Barr, Councillor John Boyle,
or
Councillor Sean Fleming,
Abstain.
Councillor Paul Gallagher,
or
Councillor Conor Heaney,
For.
Councillor Christopher Jackson,
For.
Councillor Fergal Leonard,
For.
Councillor Catherine McDade, Councillor Rory McHugh,
Abstain.
and Councillor Sean Mooney,
For.
and Councillor Patrick Murphy.
For.
Thank you.
Last call, members, for open for information, items 11, 12, 13 and 14. Okay, could I have a proposer and seconder to take us on the confidential?